It's time to make something happen. Visit MakeSomethingHappen.TV to be a guest on our show. Showcasing licensed professional clinical counselor Robyn-c-Hill of Robyn-c-Hill Counseling and Professional Development Services. Executive producer, Altogether Marketing LLC. Producer, Audrey-wiggins. This is a Mason-Wiggins Media Group production.
One of the most fundamental parts of doing business on the web is keeping your customers' information safe. Fear of hacking and other security breaches still makes a lot of people jittery about disclosing their credit card numbers and other private information online, like their home address and telephone number. And if they suspect that it could be compromised when they make a transaction on your site, they're going to take their business elsewhere. That's why you need an SSL certificate for your website.
Welcome to MakeSomethingHappen.TV, where local conversations make a global impact. I'm Audrey-Wiggins, your host, and our guest today is Miss Robyn-c-hill.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Robyn. We appreciate you being here with our entrepreneurial showcase today. We know we have a lot to unpack for you, and we're very excited that you decided to join us today.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
You're welcome. Yeah, awesome. So Robyn is an independently licensed professional clinical counselor. Some of you may know that as LPCC. And is issued by the State of Ohio Counselor, Social Worker, and Marriage and Family Therapist Board. And she studied also at Ashland Theological Seminary, where she obtained her Master's in Arts degree in Clinical Pastoral Counseling. And Robyn runs her, you currently run your own practice, your private practice in Beechwood, Robyn-c-hill Counseling and Professional Development Services.
Yes.
That's awesome. She's also an author. She puts on conferences, and we're just going to hear more about what she's doing. All right, Robyn, just want to take it away?
Sure. Like you said, I've been in private practice. I've been in private practice since 2011.
Okay.
But I've actually been practicing since 2006 when I graduated and got my license. I've worked at agencies for several years before I started my practice, which I believe is great learning ground. You get to see mental health that is rawest at agencies, but it does overwork you quite a bit. So I decided to.
You don't get to control the clients or the hours.
No, and they want you to bill. Like it's a big push on billing, and so I decided to walk away and start my own practice so I can move at my own pace and stuff. And I've loved it, and work more so with African American women. My primary areas of practice are depression, anxiety, and trauma. So working with women in those areas have been the main focus of my practice since I opened.
Wow. How many clients you see?
Oh, it fluctuates. Okay. That's the problem with entrepreneurship, which you probably already know. You could be swamped and then it'd be like crickets. So
exactly.
It depends. Right now it's a little medium, so I probably see about 10 people a week. Okay. And that's the pace I really want to be at. You know, my bills are saying I probably need a little more. So I've hired a couple therapists under me to take on some of the work, but yeah, 10 a week because of how long I've been in the field and dealing with trauma and a lot of heavy stuff. That's about
good. Keep your own self,
so I probably need to book more. Like I need to book like 18 to make sure that 10 shows.
Oh, you're right. Right. Because we do cancel or just don't show up. Yep, you're right. Yeah, good for that. So I don't need to go there.
Right.
Get cold feet. Just pull up in the parking lot.
I've had a lot of cold feet.
Oh, Miss Hill, I can't make my appointment today.
I've had people, they call me numerous times. They chicken out each time. But I just keep, getting them ready.
Grace.
Yeah, give them some grace.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, I know you provide culturally and spiritually sensitive counseling workshops. You talked about that with the depression, anxiety, and trauma.
Yeah.
You also, we're going to get some more, conversation, in the mental health and professional development, but I don't want this to get biased as well. That you own your own radio station, Elevations Radio, which I was a guest on your show, Mind Healing Conversations.
Yes.
And that was great being there with you and Cool TLC.
Yeah.
Did I get this name right? Hey. That and you've authored some books to improve our emotional wellness and a healing conversation, beginning steps towards dealing with a painful past, and Refresh, a therapeutic devotional. And you can find these books by Robyn on Amazon, Nook, and there's also Kindle versions.
Yes.
Yes.
I started my radio show probably about 4 years ago. on different stations.
Okay.
And then eventually I decided to create my own station so that I can formulate my own audience to go towards the positive, uplifting. Look, our conversation, our community needs to be lifted up. It needs to be elevated. That's why it's called Elevations.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's, you know, we talk about a lot of trash. I hate to put it that way, but we do. And I even like, you know, I like ratchet TV sometimes. I watch Housewives and stuff because I need to get away from the hard stuff. I can't watch the hard stuff anymore. But we do need to be able to have good conversations, know how to pick ourselves up, and know how to deal with life. And so that's why I created the station. At one point I had 8 live shows going, but a few of them have left. And instead of replacing them, I've replaced them with pre-recorded shows from around the country. So
more like podcasts.
And so now I have 4 live shows. One's on sabbatical, and 3 of them got going. I think that's the pace I like. I don't have to work as much.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I like it. You know, like that. Let somebody else, you know, promote someone else's, you know, content and their productions. Yeah. So, what kind of shows do you have on there?
Right now, as far as the pre-recorded shows, I have Cheryl Underwood's gospel show, Spiritual Nourishment. Making Contact, which is a nationally syndicated journalism show, talks about a lot of current event issues. I like that. 2 podcasts, I think, out of Atlanta. One is actually 3. I forgot about the other one. Speak on It, which is a short little 10-minute empowerment thing. Is
that a daily or they come on weekly?
I put it on like twice a week. Twice a day, but twice a week. So different, you know, so the people around the world, because the audience listens in from all around the world. So I want to get the shows as much exposure as I can. So I put them at different times, so that whatever time zone's plugged in, it might get heard. I have another one, Take a Shot, which is another 10, 15-minute empowerment young lady. I'm not sure which state she's out of right now. And then a new one I have getting started is Black Chicks Rock. Is it Black Chicks Rock? I want to say it's Black Chicks Rock. Her show, which is Real Discussions. So she's syndicated. So those are the pre-recorded shows. And my live shows is my show, Mind Healing Conversation. The Queen's Journey, which is Sade Carlissa Bumpers, where she does women's empowerment and also astrology, alchemy, all that mixed together. And then I have the sports guys, Bub and Wax, and those 2 older guys from the 50-50, I was about the double nickels. They reminisce half the time we're on the show. And then Sherry Haddon, she does the Pipe Dream, where she does entrepreneurs. All right.
Well, that's awesome. You have some great content there.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's exciting. Yeah, definitely. It's your own radio station,
it's
so
mine.
I love it.
And it's all positive. I don't even, you know, I try not to allow any cussing. Like I said, the sports guys, they get a little rowdy.
Right, you probably get riled up. Absolutely. So that's elevationsradio.com, right? Yes, elevationsradio.com. So plug in and see all the different content. Because when I first had heard about you and knew you had the radio show, I didn't even realize that you had owned it. So that was phenomenal to find out. Congratulations. I know that's like old news, but
it's been 2 years. 2 years. But I had the show going for 4, so you might have, you know, you were thinking probably still at other stations.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So that's great.
Yeah. So but that's the reason behind that. Was just I wanted a positive audience that was looking for positive and uplifting.
Yeah, and it kind of is almost an extension of your counseling service in a way. To stay plugged into positivity, like you said.
Yeah, because a lot of the clients, they need something positive to listen to too. They need to feed into themselves a little better than what they have. It's kind of like when you grow up eating Cheetos all the time. It's like, here, have some celery.
Exactly. Yes. With the no ranch dressing.
Right. And it was great having you on the show.
Yeah, that was fun.
When I found out about you starting your station, I was just so excited because I just like it when we're doing
something. Right. You like me, I get excited about what other people are doing.
Yes, we need to cheer each other on. I always say silence can be so loud.
Oh my goodness, yes. And I do appreciate that opportunity, you know, to give a voice in a different space, you know, talking about what we do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I know we mentioned your books as well, so if you want to tell us about that, and you can do professional development.
Okay.
So let's...
Well, the books I wrote the first one, A Healing Conversation, Beginning Steps Towards Dealing with the Painful Past. I'm not even sure how many years ago I wrote it. It took me a couple years to it was not even long, but it took me. I'm the type of person I'll start something and put it on the back.
Oh yeah.
So
Yes.
so it took me a while to finish it. But that book is my primer for counseling. When I first started out in agencies, I had to get the clients to buy into the counseling process. So because they're there for their secondary gains, I want my disability, my food stamps, bus tickets, or whatever it is that they needed. They didn't know what my purpose was because it really wasn't pushed by the agency. So be able to sit down with them and say, this is what counseling is, this is what my role is, this is what you need to do, this is what these words mean, how do you feel, and getting them to express what their emotions are, and give them some coping skills. So that is what I put into the book. It's basically my primer for counseling. It's not to replace counseling, it's kind of to get people ready. What if I want to go to counseling? What should I know? Well, here's this information. My second book is Refresh a Therapeutic Devotional, because like you said, I went to seminary. I got my master's in clinical pastoral counseling. So there's always this part of me that wants to incorporate spirituality into the process. It's a part of who we are. So I created a devotional because when you say certain terms, especially with church, they get a little afraid because they're not sure if that's of God or not.
Right.
And so, we accept meditation. When we say mindfulness, it kind of sounds Buddhist. What is that? But I wanted to show that it's a technique to be used with scripture, with your spirituality. So I wrote a 40-day prayer journal, utilizing scripture in a passage, teaching them how to pray about the emotions that come out from the passage, and also listen for the voice of God to answer them in that prayer time. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's something that we definitely need to plug into. So definitely go to their website or check them. Look for those titles on on Amazon and get your Kindle version or Nook as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be promoting. As we promote you for being on the show, we'll promote your books and
you
have you're welcome in your conference. Coming up as well. Yes.
Right.
So you want to talk about that?
Well, you want to say
alluded or segue.
You want to say professional development?
Yes.
So professional development, I do workshops. I had been doing my own series of workshops, my refreshing series. One was self-care, one was boundaries, and another one was grief. I put them on hold, but they're probably going to be making a comeback next year. Okay. I've been was thinking about doing one this summer, but it's just not enough time to get it together. Yeah. So, getting that workshop series. I do also speak at other companies. They have me come in and speak about mental health, domestic violence, anything that pertains to mental health. I've gone and spoken at places. The sewer district was one of the most recent ones I spoke at to talk about domestic violence. Okay. So, and the retreat that I want to do. Yeah. The refreshing retreat. I started. Is that going to have your book? Is that going to be part of it? I think usually when I do these workshops and stuff, I usually give something away. Usually that book gets given away, or the devotional, depending on. Okay. So depending on the size, and I usually give one of my books away, and then sell the other one. But the purpose of the retreat is because we do need some time just to get away and tend to ourselves. And I canceled it the last time because I didn't get enough registration. This was a couple years ago, but it is on my heart heavy to bring that back. So
I think that's needed, especially for us entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We just push and push and push.
I had found this nice retreat place, this resort down in Amish country. Okay. And they had walking paths and everything. I thought that was just great to just have time to just go either walk or go get a massage or, take a nap. I actually had nap time in the schedule. Okay. So, yeah, it'll be coming back next year.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to that. That sounds exciting.
Thank you.
As much you need it.
Yes.
What's the name of that, the retreat?
That's going to be the refreshing. Everything always comes off that name of that book, Refresh or Refreshing.
This year you do have another workshop or conference, actually, that you're putting together. Tell us about that, Robyn.
The Great Lakes Black Authors Expo and Writers Conference is October 4th and 5th. This is our second year. Last year we did it here in Cleveland. We honored Rita Dove with the Alice Dunbar Nelson Award for Literary Achievement, and Etiari Jones as the keynote speaker. And we had different workshops. This year we're going to be in Akron, Ohio. We've been invited down to do it in Akron, Ohio. Awesome. We'll be at the John S. Knight Center. The purpose that I created this, one of the reasons, because there's a couple reasons. One of the reasons I created this conference is because I'm an author. And when I go to events to sell my books, I don't compete well with the purse lady, the perfume lady.
Right,
You know, and people are like, oh, that's a good book, but you know, I ain't got but $20 in their purse. They're gonna get
smell good,
good,
jewelry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So having an event, an exposition of authors, and creating an event where readers and writers will all come, it'd be a great way to expo authors and give them a platform to show their wares.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons. Another reason, I want to push literacy in writing and create a platform that celebrates it, because all of our children are not football players and basketball players.
That's right.
We have some very talented artists that write poetry, but they're hiding it because it's not the popular thing to do. So we need to create this culture amongst us that says celebrate writing, celebrate reading, so that they can come out of the woodworks and show what they're doing.
Right.
So we, you know, even though our conference is focused on adults, but if the children can have something to look forward to, I want to get awarded or whatever that might be.
Yes.
That's what it's for.
Okay.
So this year we're honoring Dr. Naomi Long Madgett out of Detroit. She's a Detroit Poet Laureate. She was mentored by Langston Hughes in County Cullen. She was telling the stories when we went to go visit her, telling the stories about Langston Hughes, County Cullen, and Gwendolyn Brooks, all these names that you read about. She knew these people.
Wow.
Maya Angelou, she knew them.
Wow.
So she gets the award this year. She created Lotus Press, which was one of the first press to print a lot of African American authors.
Okay.
And then we're also introducing the Griot Award. Our Griot Award is for people who engage in storytelling that might be non-traditional or supports literacy. So the theme this year is the legacy of the storyteller. So we want to make sure that we recognize that our storytelling has not always been written.
Okay. Right.
So a lot of times it's been verbal. So one of our award winners is Denise Harrison from Kent State University.
Okay.
She does quilts, and she's been recognized for her quilts. She has a Sandra Bland quilt and a Black Lives Matter quilt, and we're going to try to get her set up to display during the conference. Another winner is Bell Images. He's out of New York. He's a photographer. He encapsulates our stories through pictures. And Honeybell Bay, our Cleveland's own Honeybell Bay, where you know she works with those youth and she teaches them about writing and poetry and expression. She just posted the other day a whole bunch of words on her social media where she's teaching them words. It's a game, but having them learn all these words. Oh, ACT prep is what she is doing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So she does more. They do more than just perform. She's actually mentoring these young men and getting them ready for life. And so I want to recognize.
Yeah, that's phenomenal right there. Because I always say, you know, get to a certain point in our careers, whether it's self-employed or, you know, work for a corporation, university, is that our accumulation of knowledge, at some point it has to come out of us, and it has to be imparted in, you know, to the next generation or peer that's maybe, you know, late blooming and, you know, starting out.
Right,
You know, legacy, that's the only way our legacy is to me or left.
Yeah, we have to pass it on, But that's Friday night, the award ceremony, heavy hors d'oeuvres, jazz music, nice. Saturday's the all-day Expo and Conference. We'll have all the authors on display, and then having breaks in between all the workshops so people can actually go and shop and look around the authors. Anyone can come. It doesn't have to just be writers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have our first workshop, our first session, general session. Professor Ohanta and Dr. Julius Bailey will be talking about the history of storytelling from Africa to now. Also discussing incorporating their music and hip hop. Dr. Bailey's our hip hop philosopher.
All right.
That's what he's written books on Kanye West and Jay-Z, so he can incorporate that part into the storytelling. We also have a book club collab session where we're going to talk about book clubs and how to formulate them, and having people who've led book clubs talk about what they do and how they structure it and what the results have been.
Okay. What about people who want to, you know, do a memoir?
We have the writers' workshops for those.
Okay.
Because I have, that's the way that you ask that, because all my clients want to write their story. They want to tell their story and put it on, I'm going to let them know. Everybody's going to know what they did to me. And yeah, no, you have to. That will be incorporated in the nonfiction workshop.
Okay.
But yeah, there's laws to that.
All right.
There's laws.
So I just can't tell about, you know, what so-and-so did.
You got to get releases. There's something called defamation of character.
Oh,
Last year when we had
man.
the workshop, I posed that question and Dr. Bailey took that because I knew from his personal experience, like he had to send out, because he went to a publisher, releases for everybody who was in the book.
Wow.
And they had to sign it so that there would not be
Okay.
any litigation.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot
So
of
did
times
they read the excerpt with
that
what they were
included
in,
them
right?
and they had to
Okay.
say it was okay.
Mhm.
A lot of times when we're self-published, we don't know these laws and we get caught up. So that's the thing we have to be careful with the self-publishing. Publishers will make sure they check all that stuff off.
Yeah, because they'll be held liable, responsible as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so it's a benefit, for both ways. Yeah, definitely.
So we'll have writer workshops for various genres. The new one that we're introducing this year is playwrights. Because I had a lady I interviewed on my radio show. She has a play. She's done plays at State Theater. She's been in this for a while. But there's a way to copyright that so that you're not, people don't steal your play from right up under you.
Okay. Yeah. I know that's, especially in the age that we live in, this, information is easily accessible.
Yeah.
So definitely want to be safe there. I know even sometimes, even like my visuals, I won't even post some of my photographs. It's like, I gotta get this stuff off.
Right, 'cause you never know who's going to take it.
Yeah.
But we also have a literacy panel that we're going to have because we need to talk about closing that gap in literacy with our youth and our adults. There's a big gap there as far as the African American community. So we want to talk about that and how do we work to close that gap.
Okay, so where can we find information out about the conference?
That will be at the website glbaexpo.com.
Okay, so you say that one more time?
glbaexpo.com.
Okay, and those are initials for the name
Great
of the
Lakes.
conference?
Yeah, Great Lakes Black Authors Expo.
Okay, well, that's exciting. You have that coming up. You have the books that you've already written. Definitely the content of those books was forever relevant. So we need to make sure you're plugging it in, plug into the conference, as well as get in touch with Robyn and let's dump our stuff on her. Okay, it's but more than baggage. Let's get the junk out. All right,
That's what us therapists are here for.
Right, yeah, let somebody else carry that crap. Let her carry it, then we can leave, put our shoulders back and go on with life and produce something. We can go out and make something happen.
Right.
Awesome. We're empowered. You inspire us. Okay, all those little words on our banner over there. Okay. You want to educate us on how to keep going, right?
Yes.
But we can't do that unless you plug into, come and sit on your couch, so to speak, or your chair, so you can talk to us and so we can have some mind-healing conversation.
Definitely.
All right, with our therapist, robyn-c-hill.
Yes, and my website is robyn-hillservices.com.
Okay.
ROBYN hillservices.com.
All right, yeah, definitely. So we want to plug into that. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to tell us about mental health or things that what about in this climate that we're in this political climate where we're like addicted? We don't have to say all the different networks and stuff that that we're glued to 24/7 and reading them. We're listening and we're having these negative conversations all through.
With news in general, I always tell people turn the news off. If you ever pay attention, they're looping the same stories every 15 minutes. Just turn it off. I don't watch news at all because it's too heavy for me for what I do. People say, how do you stay connected? If there's something really happening, I'm going to find out. Somebody's going to post it on Facebook or something. I'm not going to miss it.
Oh, what's that? Okay.
Yeah. So I stopped watching the news a long time ago. But unless something major does happen, then I'll turn it on.
Yes.
But yeah, sometimes you got to unplug. Unplug from that. It's overstimulating, anxiety producing. You don't feel good. Pay attention to how you feel when you walk away from it. If you don't, then cut it out.
That's right. Yeah, that's real important. So do you want to add to that or anything else for our closing words?
Closing words, I just like to tell people that, life, healing is a valley. As long as you keep moving forward, you will come out. It may take time. Everyone's valley is of different lengths. So you can't look at someone else and say, well, they came out so much faster. Your valley is yours. However long it takes you to come out is how long it takes you. But as long as you move forward, you will come out.
Awesome. So take heed to Robyn's words. In the meantime, you go out and you make something awesome happen in the community. Thank you. And thank you. Thanks, Robyn. God bless you.
Bless you too.
To showcase on MakeSomethingHappen.TV or appear on any of our web shows, email studio@mwmg.tv. That's studio@mwmg.tv.